Okay.
Well, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Daily Herold here on Badlands Media. I am your host, Jon Herold, and I hope you all are having a good Thursday. Hope you all tuned into our Power Hour last night. I thought it was a pretty good one. How's my chat audience doing here? Piling in. Good to see you guys. Yeah, today's show, some interesting things going on, I guess. Trump was hosting Japan's prime minister. He had a couple interesting comments about the conflict and some past conflicts. One in particular was really funny. We'll talk about that. I also want to talk a little bit about the gas price situation and how things are looking with that. Because if there's one, issue that I've always said, is either going to wake people up or turn people off or whatever it is, it's going to be the economy, financial stuff. That is what affects everybody. And right now, gas prices are kind of going up, gold and silver coming down. The economics are not looking great. And, maybe that's okay. We're in the middle of a little conflict, a war over there. It's to be expected. But after some of the bombings, yesterday, did I forget to go live on Rumble? Oh, dang it. I forgot to go live on Rumble. Dang it. Hold on. Uh-oh. My bad, guys. I forgot to go live on Rumble. Are y'all there? I don't know why I do that. I click go live, but then there's a second button that you're supposed to click, and I didn't click that button, the second button. So that was my fault. And that was a really, really good intro. You guys see me over on Rumble yet? Dang it, my bad. Rookie problems. What did I say? I said, hey, everybody, welcome to the Daily Herold. This is Jon Herold, your host. Best host ever. You're going to love this show. What else? I said we're going to talk about Trump's Japan meeting. He's meeting with Japan's prime minister. He made a really funny comment. And then I want to talk about, oh gosh, what happened now? There we go. I'm just having issues everywhere. And then I want to talk about the gas price situation, because as I've said, the economics is what affects everybody. And for everyone on YouTube, you just saw this, or Twitter. So apologies for repeating myself, but I want to say it again for the Rumble audience. The financial stuff is what affects everybody. And right now, the economics of this conflict are not ideal. And I think it's worth discussing some of that a little bit. Good thing my TV on YouTube, my phone Rumble. Yeah. Oh, no intro. That's when we let you go. Jon can't do it. Yeah, we're working on a new intro, by the way. So my bad. Polymathonon says it was my best intro ever today. So I get it. Just give me a few shows to figure this thing out. I haven't streamed before. So anyway, let's get a quick word from some sponsors, and then we'll see what happens. And first up, we got ourselves here at Badlands Media, our Badlands shop. If you guys haven't checked this out, you really should. We're going to be starting to throw some new merch ideas in there. We've been coming up with some designs. So, hey guys, have you checked out the Badlands shop lately? You might be surprised by what you've been missing. From thoughtful gifts and unique finds to everyday household essentials and personal care must-haves, there's truly something for everyone at the Badlands shop. But here's what makes it different. Every single purchase you make is so much more than just buying stuff. You're investing directly in the movement. You're empowering America First businesses, lifting up fellow Badlanders, and you're supporting the creators who are building this community with us. So badlandsmedia.tv, go to the shop, check it out. And yeah, we appreciate your support. Then we also got Tamarack Gardens, the good folks over at Tamarack. Spring has sprung at Tamarack Garden. Time for your body to bloom with pure plant-powered magic. Kick off your spring glow-up with their best-selling detox collection. It lovingly supports your kidneys, liver, and lymphatic system, flushing out winter junk for fresh energy, clarity, and that vibrant spring vibe. then hit the sun safely. Their nourishing sunscreen packed with skin-loving plants and natural SPF tinted with cocoa for instant golden glow, no white residue, just radiant you. Protect against mosquitoes and ticks the natural way with their DEET-free plant-powered bug spray. Safe, effective family protection. And their herbal lineup eases headaches, allergies, anxiety, and more, all handcrafted by a fun family in North Idaho since 2021 from local wild weeds and wildflowers. Reclaim your health one plant at a time with Tamarack Garden. Visit tamarackgarden.com and use promo code Badlands for $10 off a $50 order. Bass Burns says John's lotioned fingers slipped off the intro button. Yeah. CanCon texted me last night after, or not last night, it was yesterday, after my interview with the congressman. He's like, dude, you just did an interview with a congressman and had lotion Ayatollah as your tag the whole time. I thought it was hilarious. I didn't even think of that, but if you're not going to be yourself, what's the point? And this is me being myself. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed that interview yesterday. That was a good time. I'm trying to get more of these congressmen on and just more guests in general. Tomorrow I'll have a guest on to talk about some cybersecurity stuff. He's a sponsor, but we're not going to be sitting here doing an infomercial. We're going to be talking about some recent news with Iran and the conflict, and he's got some pretty good background on that. But that'll probably be a 10, 15-minute interview. On Sunday, I know I said this last week that we were launching it last Sunday, but we are for sure launching it this coming Sunday, our new show that I'm going to be doing, where I will be interviewing America First businesses. Most of them, to start especially, will be our sponsors, but really just telling their story. I'm calling it America First Stories, so you can look for that to launch on Sunday. I'm recording that episode with Mo Benson tomorrow after the show, so looking forward to that as well. But yeah, let's see what else. Anything else in the chat? Is Rumble lagging, or is it me? I'm late. Can we start from the beginning? I was late today too. So Joe Kent is coming on in Badlands in 20 minutes. Should I try to get him on? I doubt he would join us. Not when he's getting invites from Mark Levin and Tucker Carlson. Does anyone want to call it the Strait of Vermouth? I like that. Here, let's check this out. Actually, know what? Real quick, let's go through. No update on the Doge website. Silver prices are not looking too good, guys. Gold down to 4,600. Silver at $71 an ounce. And then we got Bitcoin, 69,200. I think it's going to bounce here shortly. It's set. I'm not a financial guy like that. I'm not a trader, but I saw some stuff online. People were saying that. So you can trust everything you see online, and you can 100% trust that as not financial advice. But let's talk about this. So yesterday we had this post from Trump about the gas stuff, and we talked about this on the Power Hour last night. It's a fascinating post for many reasons, but I want to go a little more in depth. Israel, out of anger for what has taken place in the Middle East, has violently lashed out at a major facility known as South Pars gas field in Iran. A relatively small section of the whole has been hit. The United States knew nothing about this particular attack, and the country Qatar was in no way, shape, or form involved with it, nor did it have any idea that it was going to happen. Now, the timing of this post is very interesting for many reasons. One of them is this comes on the heels of the Joe Kent coming out and basically saying, we're doing this for Israel, right? And Trump is kind of getting a lot of heat. He almost paints Israel in the negative light, okay, Joe Kent. And Trump here is also painting Israel in a negative light. You can agree with that or like that or whatever. I don't care. I'm just saying it how it is. He's coming out here saying Israel did that. It wasn't us. Please don't bomb Qatar for this. They weren't responsible. You're bombing the wrong people. That's essentially what he says. The United States knew nothing about this attack, and the country Qatar was in no way, shape, or form involved with it, nor did it have any idea it was going to happen. Unfortunately, Iran did not know this or any of the pertinent facts pertaining to the South Pars attack, and unjustifiably and unfairly attacked a portion of Qatar's LNG gas facility. And Qatar's LNG gas facility is like the second largest in the world or something, maybe even the largest. I have a couple stories. We'll go into it. But that gas facility being bombed, like if there already was damage, I don't know if we know the full extent of it, but depending how much of that could stay, like that could drastically affect already rising gas prices. Okay. Anyway, Trump goes on. No more attacks will be made by Israel pertaining to this extremely important and valuable South Pars field unless Iran unwisely decides to attack a very innocent, in this case, Qatar, in which instance the United States of America, with or without the help of or consent of Israel, will massively blow up the entirety of the South Pars gas field at an amount of strength and power that Iran has never seen or witnessed before. I do not want to authorize this level of violence and destruction because of the long-term implications that it will have in the future of Iran. This whole thing is just so interesting because we're in the middle of this war where Trump is, he's carpet bombing the narrative and taking all sides of it, saying we won, saying he'll end it when he wants to, all these things. And this almost comes off as like, he doesn't apologize, but that's almost what it feels like, right? It's like, we're sorry, we had nothing to do with it. Don't blame us. Blame the other people. Don't bomb these people. But it's just so interesting post for Trump to put out there. And people are catching on to this. There's quite a few clips on this. Let me find one here. This is Trump talking about Netanyahu and the oil and gas fields.
I don't blame him.
Thank you, Mr. President. You talked to Prime Minister Netanyahu about attacking the oil and gas fields.
Yeah, I did. I told him don't do that, and he won't do that. We didn't discuss. We do. We're independent. We get along great. It's coordinated, but on occasion he'll do something, and if I don't like it, and so we're not doing that anymore.
And the last one, if I could,
and if we're being honest, if Trump didn't know it was going to happen, didn't give permission, that's not that coordinated. Maybe they're coordinated in other areas. I don't know. But the story he's kind of painting here and with his True Social post is that, yeah, there's not that much coordination. But it's interesting. It's kind of the first time that Trump has publicly, since 2025 anyway, almost in a sense rebuked Israel for their actions when it comes to conflicts and stuff. I think that's notable. But let's talk about this story here. This is from Financial Times. Iran inflicts extensive damage on site of world's largest LNG facility in Qatar. Tehran vowed to retaliate against Gulf energy plants after its South Pars gas field was hit. Iran hit the site of the world's largest liquefied natural gas facility in Qatar with a ballistic missile, inflicting extensive damage in retaliation for an attack on the Islamic Republic's South Pars gas field. The attack on Wednesday marks a significant escalation in the Middle East and threatens major repercussions for global energy markets. Qatar is the second largest exporter of LNG in the world and the biggest supplier to Asia. Qatar's defense ministry said on X that Iran had fired 5 ballistic missiles, with 4 intercepted and 1 hitting the Ras Laffan, a huge industrial complex that is home to state-owned Qatar's energy, LNG plants, and a fuel refinery. It is also the location of Shell's $18 billion Pearl GTL plant, which turns gas into chemical feedstocks and fuel. Analysts said the attack had the potential to cause a lasting global gas shortage, depending on the scale of the damage, as Ras Laffan is normally responsible for about a fifth of global LNG supplies. Even when the war ends, the impact on supply could last months or even years as repairs are undertaken, said Saul Kavanik, this energy analyst. And there's another story where I want to find where the gas prices are at. Hold on. So this came out, it's today the 19th, it is. So this came out this morning, okay, from The Hill. I know, fake news, Hill sucks, whatever. Will Trump's moves to bring down gas prices actually work? The Trump administration has rolled out a slew of policies aimed at bringing down rising gasoline prices amid the war in Iran, but experts say they're unlikely to have much of an effect. Analysts who spoke with The Hill said the only way to meaningfully bring down prices is to open up the Strait of Hormuz, which Trump has been trying to do. He's trying to get other people to come in and help with that. Shipping through the key channel has effectively halted, cutting off a significant share of the world's oil supply. And on top of that, we have the liquefied natural gas situation with Qatar. As a result, oil and gasoline prices have skyrocketed. On Wednesday, the average U.S. gas price was up 92 cents per gallon from where it was a month prior. Now, this is the stuff, the economics, the financial stuff, the gas prices. These could have poor implications in the midterms if we don't get our elections fixed. Real Mrs. Bright, oh, she joins the chat, watches my show for once. and it's only to promo a Gart stream. What the hell, Miss Bright? You could just come and watch because you like my show. But yeah, guys, today after the show, immediately after the show, we are having our next exclusive Gart live stream, and it's going to be a fun time. They're always fun, usually pretty spicy. Let's do this. It's for in-person or virtual ticket holders to Gart 11. So if you haven't got your ticket yet, I would encourage you to get one. Last time we had like 10 people on the stream, and it got a little spicy and heated, but in a good way. The friction that we always, that we're known for. So get your guys tickets and come join us. It'll be immediately after the stream ends. So you're not going to want to miss it. There you go, Miss Brad. I promote it. What did Gimme Games say? Oh, don't be mean, guys. Anyway, so gas price stuff, like when I talk about election fraud, the ballots, what they do at the actual ballot box with the manipulation of votes and stealing and the mail and stuff, that's obviously important. But I think even more important is being able to sell the story that the people won, like in 2024, when I think they could have stole from Trump if they wanted to, but they couldn't get away with the narrative of anybody other than Trump winning. It's kind of why I wish they would have, just so we could have had that. We could have had that moment then to, get to the bottom of our elections and fix it, but we didn't. And that is in a sense unfortunate. So we're still waiting for that moment. Right. And it's stories like these where gas prices is going up and there's all this conflict on social media and the war itself, where there's a good chunk of people out there that don't care to be involved in this. These are the types of stories that they will use to justify stealing elections for radical leftists who nobody actually supports, or maybe some, but liberalism is a mental disorder. I fully believe that. And there aren't that many mentally disabled, but there are a lot, but not enough to win elections. So it's all about getting, people will look at a story and be like, oh yeah, Trump's gas prices, that sucks, cost him the midterms. It's stuff like that. Remember that list I made a while ago where I was like, here's all the reasons I've heard so far about, why we're losing the midterms, when really the only reason is election fraud. I stand by that, every word of it. But until we get our election process, the election theft exposed and the election process fixed, we're going to have to operate within the normie battle space where people sell these things and they're going to be able to get away with it. I think it's important to recognize that and what they're trying to do so we can front run it. John, I DM'd you a video of the bombing of Qatar and Saudi Arabia. Well, let's look at that, huh? Thank you, E.H. Kyle. Let's see. Here's the video of it.
Site for their natural gas production. This is what they use to basically turn as a gas to liquid field. The largest export terminal has now been massively hit by ballistic missiles. Let's quickly go to the damage done to Qatar Energy. More.
Oh shit! Oh my god!
Oh my god!
Oh shit! अबे किसमें किधर गिरा अरे वहां गिरा सामने तो गिरा और किधर गिरा अरे शाला.
Why do foreign countries curse in English? Like I never once cursed in a foreign language. You know what I mean? Maybe my parents have like some old German words. I'm trying to even think. I can't. I'm trying to think like old German words, and I can remember like, what do you say when people sneeze? I don't even want to say because I want to butcher it, so I'm not going to. But you guys know what I'm saying. Man, that's just so funny to me. Holy shit!
Oh shit!
The other difference is that the IRGC missiles. Multiple positions in the capital. They've lost their minds.
Now the interesting thing about this, if you guys remember, just over the weekend or Sunday night or Monday or whatever, Trump put out that Truth Social post where he was like, Gesundheit. Yeah, that's it. That's it. That's a German word. Thank you. I knew it was something like that, but I didn't have the confidence to say it, but I knew it. So thank you. Trump's post from over the weekend where he was like, yeah, all these videos coming out of Iran, it's all fake. It's all AI. None of that actually happened. And, you know, when we've said that stuff over the years, we kind of get shit for it. But he's kind of saying we can't trust the information we're seeing. This is interesting. We got a story about the gas stuff being hit. We're getting videos like this out of there, always filmed from the grainiest potato camera possible. You can't trust it. So to me, at this point, this is still a story about a bombing. And, you know, we're going to see the effects of that story being out there with gas prices going up. They're not swear words. They're sentence enhancers. I like that. But yeah, guys, the gas price situation, it's going to be, some people are saying it's going to get up to $200 a barrel, which is nuts if that's true. But that's the stuff that they're going to be able to sell those narratives. But this is more from this article on The Hill. Trump administration has made several moves to keep price under control. On Wednesday, they announced it was issuing a temporary waiver of the Jones Act, a law that requires shipping between U.S. ports to be done by U.S. flagged ships. The administration has also moved to release oil from its Strategic Petroleum Reserve. They've lifted some sanctions on Russian and Venezuelan oil and boost oil production off the California's coast. But oil experts don't expect those changes to produce significant reductions on their own. At the end of the day, there's only one real solution to the energy price issue, and that is to reopen the Strait of Hormuz and allow more oil supply into world markets. See, I'm curious to see what happens with the Strait of Hormuz and whether or not any of those allies come in. I haven't seen a story on it anyway, but yeah, some other news on the conflict right now. Iran escalated strikes on energy sites in neighboring Gulf states. Trump's new threat. President Trump said there would be no further attacks on South Pars. We already went over this, so I'll skip that. European leaders seeking to stabilize oil prices said they're ready to join appropriate efforts to reopen the Strait of Hormuz. There we go. All Trump had to do was talk shit a little bit. Even in the funniest way possible, too. He's like, you know, you guys should be joining, but we don't need you. And we never did need you. And this war's already over. But you should be joining us in the Strait of Hormuz. You know, it's just silly. But here they come. That's good. Where Iran has attacked ships to effectively block the vital shipping waterway. Meanwhile, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent has floated easing sanctions on Iranian oil stranded on tankers to shore up supplies. That's an interesting one. We're going to ease sanctions on the people we're bombing? Or is it, I guess it wouldn't be the people, it's just their oil. It's probably not their, it's probably like other companies. I don't know. F-35 was hit. And we already talked about the leak investigation. Or did we talk about the leak investigation? Did we talk about that yesterday? I don't remember. I don't know if that was broken yet. I mean, there were people saying, you know, out there that there was a leak investigation. That's why he got fired and he was going to get fired. And that's why he put out his resignation letter in the way he did to kind of lionize himself for the people that are all anti-Trump. But yeah, it came out, I think it was after our show. It came out yesterday that Joe Kent is under investigation for leaking classified information. And they're saying that the investigation was started well before he resigned. And it's interesting. BB last night on the show made an interesting point. He's like, okay, well, did he resign because he knew the investigation was coming? Or did the investigation come because he resigned? Like, there's multiple ways to look at it. And I think he had another talking point on it, but I typically don't listen when Burning Bright talks. So Kara B823 says, someone explain how this is affecting us so much if we are energy independent. And that's an interesting question. Okay. And our energy independence and how much we drill, baby drill, has a lot to do with the price of oil itself. You know, there was a message we got. I think Burning Bright got it on, I don't know if it was on a Substack or somebody just sent him a message or whatever, but it's from a viewer, and he says he's not like in the oil industry or anything, but he made a really good point. He's like, there's a certain price threshold where the oil companies, it's not worth it to them to even get in there and drill or to open up a new gas plant or anything, right? Like if it gets down to $70 a barrel, they're like, well, it's not worth it to us. We're not going to make money. And then once it gets even lower than that, then they're losing money, right? But then it's anything above like $80, $90, then it's very profitable. And obviously the more the price goes up, the more profitable it'll be. So while we could be energy independent and drill, baby, drill, a lot of the infrastructure for that may not have actually been kicked off in the way that it maybe should have been because of the gas prices that were coming down. And now that it's going way up, now we'll probably start drilling again. I think, like they said in the story, that we just opened up more drilling off the coast of California. So I don't know. Jeff Forrest says, I listen to you every day. My first live view. Your hair looks like a flock of seagulls. I need a haircut. And I went to go schedule it with my barber, and they're like the only good barbers in town, small town, you know. And so they're usually pretty busy, and I can't get in until, I think the first time I could have gotten in was like next Thursday, the 26th. I was like, man, that's way too close. No, actually, it was the Monday the 30th. That's what it was. Because the next week is when we go to GART. And I was like, that's way too close. I can't go in and then go get another. I'm just going to wait. So it's going to be a couple weeks till I get my haircut. Not that you guys care, or maybe you do care. And is a flock of seagulls, is that a compliment or not? Because I feel like that may be an insult now that I think about it. Quiet Coney says, what we export for profit is oil we import and refine. T. Gretzky, adding more oil to the market to decrease prices for 1 to 2 weeks. Yeah. But those are just Band-Aids, you know, like some of these measures, depending on this conflict goes and how long it goes on, like the price increases they will be inevitable. And again, this is like, I'm not trying to knock Trump here in any way, even though I'm against our involvement over there and these ramifications are unfortunate. I still do believe that he is doing this for reasons many have speculated, right? Like he's not starting a war, he's ending a war. I do think that's what he's trying to do. The whole peace through strength requires using the strength a little bit. That's what I want to believe. I hope that's true. But I obviously can't predict the future. So I don't know. Hopefully this conflict gets wrapped up sooner rather than later. And because the long-term effects of this stuff, it's going to affect us. You know, the billionaire class, they don't care about oil prices as much as the day-to-day middle America people do. And as I've been saying since day one, like I'm just looking forward to the switch theory, you know, that we talked about getting turned on and the economic windfalls actually coming to us. This is what I spoke to the senator yesterday, or the congressman yesterday, about, you know, you guys haven't done anything. We're not feeling it here. And the tax breaks are great, but we don't want to be paying taxes anyway. So you being generous enough to give us our own money back that you have laundered and stole, it's not the win you think it is. Walberg Forge, it is because we are not independent. Haven't seen any of the wells around here move in years. Yeah. Go.go, $80 is a sweet spot for producers. Polymathodon, John, we're not drilling right now. That's what I do. I manufacture and engineer parts for oil and gas industry. You're correct about barrel price. I mean, I was probably a little wrong on some of the specifics, but I get the principle of it. But that's interesting. Maybe you would be a good guest on my show for a segment to talk about this. You sound like you may know some things. Anita Happens, shale drilling is more expensive and not worth it if the price is too low. I'm hearing that silver is the same way. Once it hits $280 to $300 an ounce, silver mining becomes doable again in the U.S. Wait, what? Richard Rohr says Flynn was selling repurposed nuke fuel for mini reactors, just haven't told general public, just like cold fusion. I don't know if that's true, man. Carrie B823, another question. Why does it take 1 week for oil and gas prices to go up so much, but years to come back down? It's a scam. 100% it's a scam. When they lower the price, they lose money. They're not going to be as easy to do that or quick to do that. But when they see an opportunity, a reason to raise those prices up just in case, we got to price in the bad stuff, they're going to take that opportunity immediately. Walberg Forge, I still don't support us being there. Neither do I. I support us while we're there. I don't agree with us being there. I'll always support our troops. And I support President Trump. Samuel Polymath and I drink and I know things. Yes, that is worth a segment, I think. You should come on. Let's get in touch with John Drake to get in touch with me. And if you're willing, you should come on my show tomorrow to talk oil stuff. All right. Jeff Force says if Samuel L. Jackson doesn't show up, you should be good. I'm not sure I get that reference either. But let's we did have this. I don't know if I trust this. It's from a random account. I mean, they got a lot of followers. It's an OSIN account. But they say that Qatar and Turkey in a joint statement essentially blame Israel for Islamic regime attacks on the Gulf states. They made sure not to blame the U.S. That's an interesting rhetoric change from some of these other countries, Qatar especially. And maybe it's not that surprising, considering some of the things we talked about this last night too. If you remember, Hamas was negotiating in Qatar, in Doha. They seem to be the place where all the agreements are being held, discussions. And Israel bombed like Hamas while they were in Qatar, which was nuts. And now this. Turkey, I think Israel and Turkey have been not the greatest of friends. Anyway, Iran sets its price to end the war. Donald Trump has said the U.S. war with Iran will end when he decides, when, as he put it, I feel it in my bones. But it will not only be up to the U.S. president. Over the past week, as the conflict has escalated and sent shocks through the global economy, Iran's leaders and military commanders have signaled that far from a quick capitulation, the Islamic Republic plans to silence its guns on its own terms. And this is the part that I think most people, when we're looking at, we don't want to be involved in foreign war. Like, we can do everything right on our side and take out all the targets we want on our side. But if the enemy isn't, they have to be the ones to stop fighting back. And that's, I think, one of the things that you can't always, anticipate or control. We have all this intelligence and all these things, and maybe some great plans and military, whatever planning's done, everything sounds good. But as soon as you start actually bombing and fighting, things are going to change. All those plans kind of go out the window, and you don't know how the enemy's going to respond. And now I know people will say, Trump's in full control, we're watching a movie. I don't believe that, and I never believed that. I do believe there's an enemy all over the place. And I think that's what Trump's up against. And that includes in Iran and those who support the enemy in Iran and all those things. I understand what Trump's trying to do, but in order to do that, there's an enemy that also has a say, no matter how powerful or weak they are. Wait, what? Oh, Ash sent me something to distract me. I thought it was important, but I'll get to it later. And this is the side of things where, right at the beginning when Trump was getting into this, and I was like, that's not what I agree with. I'm not in love with the idea of us being over there. I don't want that. And people are like, oh, that you're the worst. Suck it. You, all these mean things. And they're like, he's not actually doing any of that stuff. He's doing this thing. And then I was like, okay, well, it's a war. You can call it a military strike. Oh, we're going to be there for a couple of days. This is going to be over before you know it, all these things. It's like, okay, well, maybe. But that's putting a lot of eggs in the basket that of the full control basket. Well, and we can argue about the level of control all we want, but I do think Iran is going to have more of a say in when this conflict ends, maybe than we do. And that's a problem. That's unfortunate. But that's also, I think, reality that people need to come to terms. We don't know how long this is going to last. And the really bad thing, I think, is depending how this ends. Have we radicalized more people? Are we putting ourselves in the crosshairs for future stuff that was maybe unnecessary? I don't know. It's just also interesting. We're going to have to see what happens. But I just thought this article, it's in the Financial Times. I just thought it was interesting how they're talking about it. It's like, yeah, well, everybody's fixated on the vacillations of Trump, but it's completely missing the fact that there's a massive country with its own agency, said a Western official. What does that play is pretty much the whole, I don't even know what that word is, raison d'etre of the regime, which is to survive and resist. Argue Memnon says, is this to support anything without dissent channel? I'm not here to agree with groupthink. It is absolutely not. Absolutely not that channel. You are free to say whatever you want. We embrace the friction as long as it's like good faith. Hua 1776, absolutely not true. America is in full control. Get off the fence. I'm not on the fence, but that's, if you need to define what that means if you're gonna, when you say that, because full control means like absolutely total full control. And that's like the movie rhetoric, which I think is stupid because you're basically saying there is no evil in this world. And if there is, it's all controlled. They can't do anything. That's not reality. Okay. This is not true. We can have a very high level of control of certain things to the best of our ability, best of our knowledge. But there is no total control. It does not exist. Boom diggity, we need to make sure this war ends so that we can stop being held hostage to this cartel. It has been a problem my whole life. Ramon 222, Iran cannot sustain this fight. That is reality. I hope so. We're told that, but we don't know. Have you looked into the rumors of the Stargate portal located under the city of Abadar, Iran? I think we did something like that on a baseless conspiracy episode once. Confucius say riding fence means you give split shit. That's funny. Let's get to a couple of, well, actually one more thing on this, I think. Last thing. The Senate rejects, again, an effort to restrict Trump's Iran war powers. And good, they shouldn't be doing this. So stupid. The Senate sucks. Congress sucks. Government sucks. But there's a couple clips I want to show from today. Well, here's Trump talking about the economy.
All done. Everything was going great. The economy was great. Oil prices were very low. Gasoline was dropping to, I mean, we had $1.99, $1.85. We had great everything. And I saw what was happening in Iran, and I said, I hate to make this excursion, but we're going to have to do it. And I actually thought the numbers would be worse. I thought that it would go up more than it did. But we're doing this excursion, and when it's completed, we're going to have a much safer world. And the prime minister agrees with me on this. She considers it to be terrible what Iran did. I think every country does, just about every country does. Iran is a serious threat to the world, to the Middle East and to the world. And everybody agrees with me. I think virtually every country agrees with me on that. So I wanted to put out that fire. And I said, if I do that, oil prices will go up, the economy will go down a little bit. I thought it would be worse. Much worse, actually. I thought there was a chance it could be much worse. It's not bad, and it's going to be over with pretty soon. And
that's the part, the pretty soon, It's a little, there's some leeway to that statement, which I don't like, but that's out of our control, like I said. It's up to him. It's also funny, guys. Like, if you examine his public statements with his Truth Social posts, and his Truth Social posts sometimes against themselves, like post within a post, it contradicts himself. Like, you look at his post from just a week ago, and he's saying the thing's over, we'll stop it whenever we want, all these things, everything's, and then here it's different rhetoric, different things he's saying. He's all over the map on the narrative, which is on purpose. I truly believe that. But one of the funniest things that came out of today was this. I still can't believe he said this, but I can't because it's Trump. This is hilarious.
Of course, no, Japan and US are very good friends, but one question, why didn't you tell US allies in Europe and Asia, like Japan, about the war before attacking Iran? So we are very confused about Japanese citizens.
Well, one thing, you don't want to signal too much. When we go in, we went in very hard, and we didn't tell anybody about it because we wanted Surprise. Who knows better about surprise than Japan? Okay. Why didn't you tell me about Pearl Harbor? Okay. Right? You know, he's asking me, do you believe in surprise? I think much more so than us.
Guys, watch her face when he says this.
Surprise. Who knows better about surprise than Japan? Okay. Why didn't you tell me about Pearl Harbor? Okay.
She got so uncomfortable with that statement. That is fucking hilarious.
Right? You know, he's asking me, do you believe in surprise? I think much more so than us. And we had to surprise him, and we did. And because of that surprise, we knocked out, the first 2 days, we probably knocked out 50% of what we, and much more than we anticipated doing. So if I go and tell everybody about it, there's no longer a surprise, right? Okay, one.
And this is great. This is a perfect example of one of those things where everybody who hates Trump is going to be out there saying, oh my God, I can't believe this guy said that. They call him all these names and whatever. And then everybody who loves Trump is like, this is the funniest thing ever. And in my opinion, as basically a professional comedian, I objectively think that that was hilarious. That was hilarious. And it's like the people who are saying it's in poor taste or whatever, like, are you too soon? Is that the thing? Is it too soon to talk about Pearl Harbor? Like, that was a great joke. He's so funny. And the balls to say that, because nobody else probably would have said. I mean, you know, when it comes to professionals and people in politics, like, there are things that you don't say or whatever because it's in poor taste. I love the fact that we have a president who doesn't care about that and will just say whatever he wants, whenever he wants to, whatever he's thinking. And I appreciate that. You'll say it to their face, which I also appreciate because I try to do that when I have congressmen on. That was hilarious. I don't care who you are. At least he didn't kill me, slap him. Oh shit, he did not just act like we did not know about Pearl Harbor 6 months in advance. Yeah, that's besides the point. That's a different subject. We haven't gotten disclosure about that, have we? From the most transparent administration history. Andy Mano once says, I've been waiting for done in 30 for well over 8 years now. Yeah, you're waiting for all that stuff. There are Q and other drop posts that indicate this will end by Easter. Yeah, that's been applied to a million different things. That's what I find difficult about, not the drops, the information in there I think is great. We've talked about this. When it comes to the decoding stuff, it's like how often one drop will be applied to multiple different things. And then when one hits, like, oh, see, we told you, it's like, really, bro? What else do I got here? I know there's a couple more clips I wanted to play from. Oh, yeah, they're asking for more money for the conflict. That's a fun one.
Sophisticated rockets. Every single one of them was shot down with our equipment. All our equipment. It's amazing, actually, how good it is. So we want to be sure, and it's a small price to pay to make sure that we stay tippy top.
Mr. President.
Sophisticated.
Another $200 billion. Trump did say, gosh, when was that? Like a month or two ago? That he wanted to ask, like, for next year's budget. I think the defense budget was about $1 trillion this year. He wants to go up to 1.5 trillion for next year. Just insane. Oh, and then speaking of budget stuff, did you know that yesterday our government, where's the story at? Yeah, our government rejected an effort to force a balanced budget in the United States. Is that not absurd? Lawmakers rejected legislation Wednesday to compel the United States to maintain a balanced budget, a perennial pursuit of fiscal conservatives that stood little chance of becoming the law of the land. Why not? That was voted 211 to 207 against the resolution that would have launched an effort to amend the U.S. Constitution to bar the federal government from running a deficit. It needed to clear each chamber of Congress by a 2/3 vote, then be ratified by 3/4 of all states. but the measure consideration had major symbolic meaning for budget hawks like its sponsor. And by the way, guys, symbolic meaning when it comes to our government is retarded. Retarded. Many of us have been agitating for years to do a balanced budget amendment, and out of the blue, they said, we're ready to do it. Big said in an interview Tuesday, they didn't ask me to do anything, didn't offer anything. He said of whether leaders scheduled the vote in an effort to court Biggs. He has in the past threatened to tank spending bills for where he hasn't liked the price tag. Just out of the blue, I got a call. Spokesperson for Mike Johnson did not immediately respond to a request for comment about the timing of the measure's consideration. They've done this more than 100 times since 1999. That's nuts. The Pew Research Center found that balancing the budget is the single most popular subject of constitutional amendment proposals since 1999. Biggs' latest resolution stated that total expenditures for a year shall not exceed the average annual receipts collected in the 3 prior years, adjusted for inflation. It would have made an exception for war. I mean, the whole thing's so stupid. I've railed on this so many times, the budget and the deficit, and then the fraud. You throw in the fraud in there. It's untenable. It is absurd, and I do not believe we should be paying taxes because of it. It's asinine, and it's only getting worse. And so why did they even do this? They knew they weren't going to get any of these things. They weren't going to get 2/3 vote by each chamber, and they weren't going to get 3/4 of the states to do it. So why even bother? What was the point? Other than maybe to show like, yeah, your own government, the people who are supposed to represent you, who steal from you, commit fraud with your money, pass all sorts of legislation that nobody actually wants. If they pass anything at all, it's never meaningful. They don't care about elections. Like, we could go spend an hour talking about how fake and gay and retarded our government is. But here's just one more thing. They don't want to operate on a balanced budget, which, by the way, if it was a business, I've said this so many times too, if you had a business that year after year operated on a deficit, eventually it would go out of business, right? Common sense. Eventually it would go out of business and the people would get fired. So why not with our government too? No, it's okay to have a debt. It's okay. It's okay to have a deficit when you can just print the money. Absurd. These bills are all show. John says, Ramon 222. Kabuki Theater. Yep. And they're such, like most people aren't going to see, this wasn't even a huge story. And most of the normies aren't even going to see it. That's the problem. This is the type of stuff you should send your friends. Like, why wouldn't the government want a balanced budget? That's like one of the most common sense things for anybody. You need a balanced budget in your household. You need a balanced budget for your business. You need a balanced budget. They don't want that. What else do I got for you? No, not that story. There was one story that I thought was really interesting that I want to get into. Oh, there was a story talking about the mega fracture. I don't know if you guys want me to riff on that a little bit. Let me pull it up. 8 fault lines that could spell trouble for Trump's coalition. It's not just Iran. See here, this is the narrative seeding for the midterms. This is it. When you can steal elections, all you need to do is be able to sell the story that the candidate you stole it for won. And these are some of the narratives already putting out there. War with Iran, Israel and anti-Semitism. Oh my gosh. Bad talk about the Jews is fracturing mega. Immigration, Epstein files, Maha, artificial intelligence, gender politics and sexism, American identity. Interesting. They're citing Fuentes. So stupid. It's all so stupid. Oh, that's why I hope we just fix our elections before these midterms, because I don't want to have to deal with another cycle. I don't want to do. I can't go through it again. I mean, I can and I will. I just don't want to. It's also annoying. Do I have any other clips? Nope. I don't think I have any other True Social posts either. Let's see what he's posting about. British House Lords approve up-to-birth abortions. It's terrible. Who spells reporter like that? Or is that his name? What special report? What is that? Reporteur? I've never heard of that word before, and I hate it. A reporteur is a person chosen by an organization or body to prepare reports. Sounds like a fun job. Usually on meetings, investigations, or specific topics, and then present sources reports to the groups. So it's like an intern. The UN intern. That's what I'm getting from that. Six-year-old British tourist charged along with 20 others in Dubai for filming Iranian missiles. That's a weird story. Newly elected Idaho mayor dies while giving town hall speech. What? I don't care about any of these. Kevin Spacey, what? Settles with 3 men suing in London's High Court, accusing him of sexual assault. Allies Denmark prepared to destroy Greenland's airfields. And he's kind of on a tear, but nothing really. Oh, wait, now I'm on the Gateway Pundits. Whoops, that's why. My bad, guys, I was retarded. Of me. How did I get on the Gateway Pundit thing? Weird. Michael Watley is so great running against. Yeah, I don't care about any of that. But I do want to see this guy dying while giving a town hall speech. I mean, I don't want to see it, but that's wild. I wonder if he's vaccinated. He looks young. But all right, guys, that's all I got for you. I'm going to play our soft disclosure ad real quick, and then I'll come right back and hang out with you guys until the end of the show. So I will see you in a second.
Get you some of that beard oil.
Now that I'm alone, got the close up. Do you see how awesome my beard looks right now?
I use the beard oil every single day. First thing. Comes out feeling all silky smooth. I take the dropper and I manually apply the oil directly to my mustache. Nice and, oh man, I love it. And then I do drops all throughout the hair, and then I just rub it all in. And then I top it off with the tallow stick on the face.
Dude, I feel like I have to grow a beard just to try this beard oil. It sounds
Do it, Jay.
amazing.
It's all from softdisclosure.com, and the best part about it is you will be supporting Badlands Media, Annie from Willow and Farms, and basically 3 of Annie's neighbors. So that's 5 total American companies that you'd be supporting with one purchase.
I have been using the Soft Disclosure scentless beard oil every day after the shower. It looks unkempt, but it feels silky smooth. I want to look a little wild and unapproachable, but for the woman I trust, she'll be like, oh, it's actually kind of soft. He is approachable after all. Otherwise, stay away. And Soft Disclosure will help you too with that if that's the very specific vibe you're going for.
That is very specific, yes. You guys are supporting American businesses when you do that. It's absolutely incredible, and you get a great, great product.
Spetzel made a comment here that I think is very interesting. I want to riff on it a little bit. He says, sorry, John, it's already too late for elections to be fixed for the midterms. They've already started in most states. And yeah, I agree that it's probably too late. But, and there's a but to this, a pretty big one, a nice Latino one. If you're Trump, okay, and you know the elections are fine, and this is going to be some speculation here on my part, and a little hopium on my end. I'm on a little bit of a rug, so have some patience and forgive me. If you're Trump and you know the elections are fraudulent and you know you want to fix them in some fashion and you want to expose it and all this stuff, that's like what we were promised. It's what we're expecting. We're hoping he follows through on that. Do you want to do it too soon, too early, and then have not only like things could get litigated and not go your way, like you risk them being able to fight back in many ways if you do it too soon. And then also, depending on what system is implemented after, you could potentially allow them to figure out a way to mess with that one too. I think there's a lot of risk if you try to fix the elections too soon. And so if you wait until you get closer to something, you take away their ability to stop it. Nothing can stop what is coming, depending on how close to the elections it gets or whatever. Pretty sure that's how the Q thing said. But does that make sense? By waiting and like whatever action he's going to do, if he's going to do it, hopefully. Like I'm not putting my eggs in that basket, but I'm just saying, the fact that we haven't seen the election reform that we want yet, we haven't seen the election exposure we want yet, there might be something to waiting until it's closer. And I'm not trying to like forgive away not doing it. I really want to see the election fraud exposure come ASAP. I wanted it back in 2020. Okay, so I'm sick of waiting for it. And now that we've passed, the last election cycle of 2024, I understand potentially why it would be waiting till close to this election. But if we don't get it, then what? That's the part where it's like, well, that's bullshit. And act appropriately, act accordingly. What else? Polymathon. Nothing can stop what is coming, i.e. the plan, unless you don't trust the plan. Yeah, that's what's funny. The people who hate us the most, me and Chris BB, like we talk about this stuff. We joke about this a lot. The whole, nothing can stop what is coming except the filibuster, or not making the filibuster, or whatever. The people who say that are the ones who often attack us the most for just like speaking our minds. You know what I mean? And so if literally nothing can stop what's coming, if you believe that, then nothing should matter to you. Nothing else should matter. And so why do you care so much about people who disagree with things you think are happening? You know what I mean? Unless you really don't actually believe, you're very insecure about your beliefs, but you've made it your identity, so you can't break away from it at this point. Indubitably, John. I don't know what I said that deserved an indubitably, but I love that word. Anyway, guys, I'm going to nothing can stop what is coming except elections. Having seen what we all have over the last 10 years, I have a hard time believing we will now lose the Congress at the midterms. I mean, I don't want to see that either. I don't believe we would with free and fair elections. And what do you mean by we, right? Like, I'm not going to operate within that paradigm. Sometimes I do, can't help it. But uniparty, like these people in office, none of them are actually on our side. So we need something bigger than we need something that exposes the election fraud and exposes that the people even in office now are beneficiaries of that, and they can't prove their own legitimacy, and therefore they also need to be removed. And if they want to get back in, then they need to run under the new system, whatever that is, if it's possible to create one that actually generates some form of legitimacy. Does that make sense? So whether we lose seats or not, whatever, the whole thing needs to be cleaned out. The whole thing. Start from scratch. Res Tower, but what if what's coming that nothing can stop is just a big awakening to truth, and those other things can stop other things that would be good? But that's the thing, Res Tower. Like that's fair. That's a fair assessment of it. But that's not how people treat that saying when they say it. They just like nothing can stop us coming because of full control and all those things. But if the big awakening is the truth, then why are the people who say nothing can stop us coming are constantly going after the people that are just trying to pursue the truth? You know what I mean? Like that's weird. Badlands gets attacked by so many people all the time. And it's largely from people who say things like nothing can stop us coming. It's from that crowd, which is absurd. I've always found it weird. Oh, yeah, I got to go to the guard stream. So I will see you guys later. Have a good rest of your day. I'll be back besides this guard stream that I'm about to go on right now. Get your tickets, badlandsmedia.tv/events. But I'll be back tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern. You guys have a good rest of your Thursday.
Let's get started.
That's what she said.
Oh, that's real good.
Why they stopping me?